Anybody wants to start? No? Yes.
Well, being here these 2 days, I've learned how Romania's experience with humanism is very, very similar to Malta's, in that you have a very religious society and you have an uphill struggle to introduce and spread humanism, and we have a lot of similarities. One of the questions I have is that are you recognized as an NGO by the government?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we are too.
We had to apply to get recognized, and we have to complete a lot of paperwork to get recognized, but yes, we are recognized.
Okay, that is good because without government support in some of the logistics, like financing, it can be really difficult to...
It's difficult in Romania to have a bank account to receive donation if you are not recognized by an NGO.
Oh, okay.
And many governments.
And this is mainly a personal question, but socially, do you feel sort of, I guess you feel sort of excluded in normal society for your beliefs, or my question is how best to tackle social exclusion when you are a humanist or even just an atheist?
At the beginning, I felt this exclusion, but after some time, I started to have more and more humanist friends, and now it's not that hard for me to tell people that I don't believe in God, that I'm a non-believer. I usually don't use the term atheist in Romania because it's not so good. I say that I'm a non-believer or humanist. It's easier that way. But in the later years, it became easier for me to speak out. In the beginning, since I didn't know many humanists, I was ashamed. And usually when people started talking about God, my option was to be quiet, to don't intervene and don't criticize and stuff like that. But now I'm not quiet anymore. Yes.
Thank you for sharing your story. I'm from Italy, so we have kind of an experience with religious societies, and yeah, exactly. Sorry about it. And anyway, we have a big problem that I think you're kind of one step ahead of it. That we do not have any representation in the politicians because they don't want to speak out as a non-believer or a humanist. For many reasons in Italy. And so in Italy we found that the biggest successes for our campaigns, for example, the public funds that go to the church and so on, have been going directly to courts and not through politics but through the judicial system. For example, I don't know what's the translation, like the Economical Court of Italy said the mechanism of funding of the Catholic Church is unconstitutional just a few months ago. So that's kind of a great achievement because it's more than like 2 billion every year direct funding and like 9 billions every year with indirect funding.
Euros?
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. And so, yeah, for us, with a very religious country, with a very religious politics, especially the right-wing politics, and it worked going directly to the judicial system. I don't know if it can work in Romania also.
Emil's is a story of success, but so far it's the only story of success. Thank you. There's another question here in the back.
Hi, my name is Matthias from Norway, and I'm wondering why there are 4 humanist movements in Romania instead of just having one stronger. And I know you don't have the answer alone, but why not try to make it one stronger movement?
We keep receiving these questions in yesterday and Friday. Yes, in the beginning there was only one. In the beginning there was only one humanist organization, and after that people are starting to make more, because each organization has a voice, but they all talk about the same stuff. And in Romania, if you are the only voice, you are considered a madman or someone that can be made a joke of. And it's really hard to get to be heard and to get your opinion across if you only have one organization. That's one of the reasons. The other is that every organization have a different strategy. We at ASUR, we try to go more in the education part and science, promoting science part, and this is our strategy. In ASUR, they try to tighten a relation with the organization from other countries, and they try to bring examples from other countries to use in Romania, and they also have Remos as a member, which helps with the political part. And also Emil's organization, it's focused more on the judicial part and so on. So we try to act on different fronts, if I can say so, with different voices saying the same things. Yes.
Hi, I am from Macedonia. We are not exactly a humanist organization, we are an NGO, and I work in LGBTI rights. But recently we had 2 attempts of the government to introduce a constitutional amendment that defines marriage and every other extramarital union solely as a union between one man and one woman. And the thing is, their explanation was like 3 or 4 pages, just repeating that every religion in Macedonia considers any form of partnership only between one man and one woman. And what we didn't try to dispute that in Macedonia, because that's the fact, most of the people are religious and most of the people consider that. But we tried to rally international support. So in the process of lobbying, we got the support of 49 NGOs and networks from all over Europe. We contacted the EU institutions, the institutions of Council of Europe, and etc., etc., etc. And our argumentation is it's not only discriminatory and counter to international law, but it's also counter to the principle of secularism. So we managed to combine the legal arguments with secularistic arguments and with international support, and luckily we were successful. Yeah, it's actually the only success story in LGBT activism in Macedonia so far.
It's a start.
Yeah, it's a start.
Thank you for sharing. Anybody else want to ask a question or tell a story? Yes, here. On/off button.
Okay, I am Jacob from Poland, and the situation in my country when it comes to humanism, secularism, atheism, religion is very similar to Romanian. For example, when it comes to religious education in school, it's almost all the same. And we, as an atheist organization, because I'm in the atheist coalition, we have atheist organizations, humanists, rationalist associations. We make every year since 2012 an historical reenactment in Warsaw, which is about the execution of the first non-Polish atheist, Kazimierz Leszczyński. It was in the end of the 17th century, And this event is one of the most popular humanist, secular, atheist events in the whole country. Several hundreds people every year and more people every following year. And when it comes to politics, because I think it's interesting, in the 2011 we had the general election to the parliament, and one of the former government politicians founded a party named the Movement of the Palikot, and he, with his liberal pro-LGBT and pro-secularism postulates, he managed to win the 10% of seats in the parliament. But unfortunately, as it was a very young party made mostly of people who didn't know each other very well, it collapsed during this term of parliament.
And you have some plans to try again?
It's like we as an atheist organization, we are not planning to apply for any seats in the parliament, because we consider that neither religious organizations, neither atheist organizations should be formed into a political party. Because if, of course, maybe some of us consider being secular politicians, but not under the name of Atheist Coalition.
I understand. But your name is Atheist Coalition, or your
Yes.
official name?
It's our official name and we are registered. It took more than a year to be registered. We tried twice because at the first time we were rejected due to some formal stuff, but eventually we managed to get registered.
I ask you that because in Romania there's no organization named Atheist something, because I believe it's something too taboo to name your organization like that. There's a big Facebook group with Romanian atheists and agnostics, but and there were talks about making an organization, but nobody was willing to step up and be the voice of that organization.
A few years ago, I believe it was in 2007, there was the Association of the Polish Rationalists were founded, and at the beginning there was a plan to name this association Atheists, but people were afraid that it won't be registered. And 1 year ago we decided to try to register an open atheist association, and in fact we managed to do this. So I'd like to recommend you trying. It can be done.
Thank you.
I believe.
And congratulations on your success. Yes, thank you. Hello.
Hello, my name is Temur, I'm from Serbia. So the situation is very similar because we're basically neighbors, and the Orthodox Church is in full power in Serbia also. On the point that there is no atheist association in Romania, there is one in Serbia. I'm a vice president there, and it's true, it's very taboo, it's borderline Satanism and anarchy, it's regarded as such, being vice president in Atheists of Serbia, I'm also the president of the secular circle. So we diversify. We try to play on both fronts, as you said. So on the atheist front, the idea is, yes, it's an uphill struggle to drag the name atheist on your shoulders uphill, but we believe that once we get to the top, the avalanche effect will be much greater if we succeed to cleanse the name of atheism in the minds of the people, right? Yeah. And on the other side, the secular circle, the idea behind was that, yes, the Atheist Association of Serbia, it sounds kind of exclusive because not everyone is an atheist. There's a lot of secularists' ideas and movements.
In-betweeners.
Yes, in-betweeners, even secular believers. There are people like that. So that's how we try to seem more appealing and less militant, as I would say. Yes. So what do we do in our country to promote secularism? Well, the Atheists of Serbia, they publish a magazine called the Big Bang magazine. It comes out once a month. Only 2 editions are in English, so you can check it out on www.bigbang.com or velikiprasak.com. I will leave somewhere a link. And the association from Subotica, where I am, the Secular Circle, we have a TV show. So we started last year. It was a YouTube show where we made a YouTube talk show, and it was semi-popular. But we tried to push it forward. And the head director of a local TV station liked it. So now we have a real TV show. And I would like everyone to leave me their contacts and emails, because I have ideas because it's mainly in Serbian. You can't really watch it if you don't understand, but there are ideas. If there will be live filming, so you can join us via Skype, or I can send you questions. You can take yourself a webcam, and we'll make a global, well, at least European show about secularism and broadcast it on the Serbian television, so people can see that we're all alike and there are more secularists outside of Subotica.
Sure, that's a great idea. Thank you. On off.
My name is Ariel. I'm living in Romania now. I joined ASUR, but I'm Brazilian. And I thought I could share some stuff because it's, unlike everybody else said, it's not very similar in Brazil. It's quite different. And so some examples, I think it's even more taboo, I guess, to say you're an atheist, but at the same time society is much more polarized. I think it's probably more similar to Italy. So also people are very Catholic. There's nobody in government who says openly that they're atheists, even though they're gay people. It is less taboo, much less like to be gay than to be atheist. And I know actually many gay who are Catholics and even anti-abortion and stuff like that. So, but it's there's also a strong partnership with religious minorities, and which is not so much the case in Eastern Europe because I guess they're too small. And I think it's an advantage of being a country filled with immigrants because people came from every area and you needed a secular, at least it's not as secular as the United States, but it's still, we don't have like teaching in religion in public schools, etc. But there is an organization which does carry the name Atheist, even though it's taboo, Brazilian Association of Atheists and Agnostics, and they do legal advising for infringements of the secularism in the Constitution. And it's very interesting because if you check the list of cases that they work on, there are a lot of schools in small cities that the teachers pray and stuff like that. And they provide legal advising, and they manage to ban in many cases, like in many schools, these practices. I think it's maybe something constructive, maybe to be thought of here. And yeah, with the partnership that people have with African religions, which are persecuted by Protestant Christians, they end up being quite pro-secularism because they also have to benefit from that. But I don't know if in Romania there is any group that is worth joining, because the African religions are very peaceful. They're not very proselytizing. They don't go around. They're not anti a lot of stuff because they're, I guess, too small anyway. So.
In Romania, I once went to a round table with representatives from minorities from the church that don't have many members, and the only one that agreed with me was the representative from the Adventist church, who said that they don't agree with the public funding, and the meeting was about cemeteries. cemeteries. And the fact that Romanian Orthodox priests abuse their power to and they don't allow people from other religion to be buried in local cemeteries, saying that they are Orthodox cemeteries. But after that, the discussion went to public religious teaching and state funding and so on. And we agree on many stuff, but he was the only one. And there were about 20 people in the room.
Yeah, and my last comment is about how social media is huge in Brazil, and here it's something that I feel like I miss it. Like, it seems to be like people seem to be less engaged, and I think particularly in the last years, and also with the protests, people became like visibly much more engaged. But people didn't talk about politics before, and now everybody talks about politics on Facebook. Even people who I didn't expect, even people who were not, like everybody, and it's I think quite productive. It changes public opinion a lot, and in the last elections, for example, we had a lot of headlines in huge media companies that had headlines about what is trending in social media. So basically we felt like we were creating the debate. And there's secularist organizations that, for example, they joined bloggers and they publish articles. So they produce like a lot of independent humanist media. And I also think that this could be quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else wants to share something? Oleg?
Hi, my name is Oleg. I come from Republic of Moldova. I'm acting in several human rights NGO, but also I'm a public figure, even involved in the politics lately as an open atheist, gay-friendly, and so on. And I have unexpected success there in Moldova. And I have an interesting experience in using Google Plus Hangouts tool to break the borders, the time differences and so on, to meet people and to talk about everything. I think we can talk together in English or in Romanian with the Romanians, in Russian with the Russians. We have just to identify a topic, an issue to discuss, and through Google Plus Hangout, they can join up to 10 persons to talk live, to be involved, and this video conference is immediately registered and broadcast through YouTube. Anybody, thousands or millions, can watch live and comment there. And I think this is a great tool. We have to use it. I am using it for a year or more for my purposes, for my activities. So let's organize, let's meet together, let's continue to act on the internet. Let's use this free and very easy to use tool. It doesn't need money, it doesn't need to fly, to travel, to meet and to talk about humanism, about facing the pressure of the religious and so on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so if there are no more questions? Here.
I'm Sergei from Russia, and there is no, at the moment, there is no strong organization of secularism or atheism or humanism in Russia. The Russian Humanist Society is now going through a period of reorganization after the crisis, so we have maybe about 30 plus members. But I would like to share not about any victories, but rather about some warning. I noticed that in Russia there are some atheist groups which are very, very active on the internet, but they are very radical and they call themselves fighting atheists. and their attitude to religious people is a sort of they're all just stupid and they have some brain disease. And that attitude, I think, is not constructive. It leads to a split and divisions in society.
We have the same problem here with
Yes,
some people.
and I think that, well, my position as a humanist is just the opposite. I believe that we, the humanists, can suggest a useful alternative. It's not just a neglecting or negation of someone's position, but an alternative. And so that's why I think that a strategy should be not to fight any social groups, but just to suggest useful alternatives.
Thank you. Thank you all for sharing. Christina? One final question.
Is there?
Can I?
Oh no.
Please don't film me, please. So, hi, my name is Nestor. I'm from Croatia, representing Center for Civil Courage. So, our biggest problem is we also have some NGOs, but they are not working together. So it's pointless to have like 5 organizations and like 20 Facebook groups active only on Facebook, but they're not doing anything. Actually, a Facebook discussion is pointless, and hate speech against religious person also pointless. So our fight is like to publish books like this, Humanism for Children. It is the first book in Balkan countries in this part of Europe. That actually teaches children and about humanistic values, secularism, atheism, but just in informative way. And it is also for parents. It can be used like a guide. And when we started a Kickstarter campaign, we didn't know that it will become so huge. For the moment, it is available in English, German, Croatian, and Katzen from EHU is translating into Arabic, and Ina Shevchenko from feminist group Femen in Russian. So we are going somewhere with this, and for example, our story in Croatia was there is a Facebook group like 11,000 people, and when we started this campaign, nobody actually donated from all those people. So some of guys here helped us, and some other organizations. So we didn't have support in our country, and there are lots of organizations, and I was a little bit disappointed. So I feel you when you say that nobody's actually doing anything. You have to have like one organization, strong organization. So we also have, we can offer like, you can translate this.
Yes,
there is like
that would be a great
evolution,
idea.
science, critical thinking, everything. You can also buy this here, and we actually don't earn anything because everything is going to reprinting and publishing to other languages. So this is just like spreading humanism, because changing the youth, we will change the world. We have to start from the kids, right?
I agree with you completely.
That's all.
Thank you.